Um, might be a longer video, I don't know. Um, I quit another job. I am just genuinely so miserable. Um, at a lot of these places that I, I literally just can't take it. Um, it always feels like it's something different. I wish that I could find like the pattern. I'm sure it's me. Um, try not to blame other people for my problems, but um, it always seems like it's something different. It always seems like there's a interpersonal conflict, um, but that always seems different. You know, for a while I would think, well, maybe I have a problem with authority. Maybe it's that I have an issue with managers or owners, but that's not always the case. I think that the owner at this last place I had was a straight up evil son of a bitch. He wouldn't let people take tips. I think he's going to give the unbelievably sweet woman that he has as a general manager an aneurysm with the way that he works her. And just in general is a very vile person. I know that he's going through some personal things with his family, but I've also gone through personal things with my family that were difficult and didn't take him out on ways that he does. But that wasn't why I quit. You know, in the past, that's been the problem. When I was at Lawing Place, that was the only person that I had a real issue with was the owner. And again, kept my mouth shut for the most part. I think that's the real issue for me in trying to figure out what my actual problem is. There's a thing called the asshole test that I really like, and it's just I don't know where I got it from. I don't know where it originated. If somebody does see this and wants to drop it in the comments or whatever, that'd be great. But it essentially just goes, when you're going through life and you run into one or two assholes, there's a good chance that you just ran into one or two assholes, and that's just what you got to deal with. But when you run into nothing but assholes, then you're probably the asshole. Now, I keep having problems at work. So, to me, I would be like, well, I must be the problem then. But then when I think of my problems at work, that's where this starts to fall apart, because I go, well, do I have a problem with everyone at work? No. Do I have a problem with a lot of people at work? No. Does it tend to just be one, maybe two people? Yeah, consistently. I think this is the first time where I've really had an issue with two people. And even then, they were kind of staggered. Essentially, when I started this place, there was one guy, Muhammad, who I don't know what his issue was. Just very rude about anything. If I was trying to learn how to make the pizzas and I forgot to put an ingredient on or put the wrong ingredient on, rather than just saying, hey, you know what, wrong ingredient, you got the wrong thing, or in correcting it, it was more of the, why would you do this? Like I fucked up on purpose kind of thing, or that I must be so stupid to have done something like this kind of reaction. You know, and I tried in the beginning to just kind of take that as, all right, maybe that's just this guy's personality and I just won't take it personally. And then that moved into what felt almost like working against me or sabotaging me. I think sabotage is a strong word for it, but you know, just if there was something that he could do to help, he just wouldn't. And if there was something that he could do to make it just a little bit more difficult for me, he would do that. Just very passive aggressive, small things. And it really got to a point where after a couple of weeks of it, it ruined the experience for me of even going. You know, I went in for the first couple of weeks just as happy as I could. I really didn't seem to. I did enjoy this job and this schedule and thought it was a good fit. And tried joking around with people and things like that. But yeah, after a few weeks of doing that, to just kind of be treated like you're some piece of shit. To go in and put passion into what you're doing and be treated like you don't care, it gets to you. I can't keep doing it. And eventually I was like, all right, well, fine. If what this guy seems to want is for me to be unhappy, then I'll stop trying to joke around. I'll give him that. I'll go to work and I'll just be miserable, like half of the other fucking people there. And you know what? When I went in and I was genuinely just unhappy to be there, it was the happiest I'd seen this guy. It was like he'd won. And that same day, the other guy that'd been there for a while, Valentino, seeing that I was obviously pissed and upset and just over trying to even bring any kind of happiness into a place just to be shit on, decided to take that personal and to jump on the bandwagon of trying to I don't know, passive aggressively get in, just irritate me, just aggravate me for no reason. And again, little things. If I went through a whole list of them, you'd be like, well, these all sound like small little things not to get mad at. And it's not that the actual action is upsetting, it's the knowing that it is done to irritate you. Let's take, for example, we take a bunch of the dough out ahead of time and put it on the table that we're working on and stretching the pizzas. Everyone else can manage to do that in a very small little area, so there's still all of this space. What does Valentino do when he comes to take the dough out, which doesn't even need to be done by him as I'm making pizzas? Literally just throw all of the dough rather than in stacks over the entire station. So there's no place for me to even work. And you might go, well, maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. The problem is that he does. There is an intention there that is made known, again, in a passive-aggressive way. And it seems like I was able to fix things working with Muhammad, so at least the conflict wasn't there, only to be left with now this guy being a piece of shit. So, I'm gonna have to add these two videos together, but I guess for the reason that, and this is what I don't understand, is, so I was making the video and I just got a phone call from the general manager of the store I was at, the one that I was talking about, that the owner, I feel, is gonna work to fucking death. After I walked out today, telling me that it was a real pleasure to work with me and that she's gonna miss me and that I was better than that place. So I feel like I can't be that bad of a person. I feel like I can't be that bad of a worker. I feel like I can't have that much of an issue with authority. when I've managed places, people that have worked below me have liked me. I haven't had an issue with them. But there always seems to be someone that just has to really ruin it. Just goes like, well, this person is going to be my enemy. And I don't, and if that doesn't happen, then something else does, you know? Let's see, I started making these videos on January 1st because I had just walked out of a job because I'd come in on my day off to help out and essentially feel like they really treated me like shit on that day after I had been sick for a week and still was. Now again, I did a well enough job that one of my coworkers tried to get me to come work with him at his new place. I went from there to a place called Grimaldi's, where they wanted to hire me as a manager, but it was completely disorganized. There's only so much that you can do with a place that, one, is rat infested. We had rats run into people's legs while they were eating. It was disgusting. They had a staff of pizza makers that didn't want to listen to anyone or do anything that I would tell them or anything. And my first day as the actual manager, I walked into 5 people who were there for jobs as waiters, and not that I needed to interview, they were already there working. Just no one had told me that I was going to have new waiters, it was so misorganized from above that there was nothing you could do with it. And at the same time, they were trying to get a full, like, mailing pizzas to places campaign. It was nuts, you know? And I leave that. Let's see, what was I feel like I was stumbling around there for a minute, and then it was a toss-up between going out to the Rockaways for a head chef position that would have been $70K, or take a head chef position at a place that was a 20-minute walk, an hour and a half on the train versus a 20-minute walk, and it was slightly less money, but I went, well, let me take the one that, even though it's less money, is closer and a little bit closer maybe to what I want to be doing. And that's the place that I had the oven blow up in my face. And they started acting weird because I'm sure it just made me a liability. So I went back to the Rockaway one. At which point, when I asked him for the same amount of pay, actually not even the $70K, what I asked him for would have been closer to $62. And the guy just said he wasn't even willing to negotiate for that. And then 2 days later, had an offer in Craigslist for exactly that, up to $70K. Now, if I'd taken that job first, when he'd offered the $70K, I would have a $70K job right now. And I wouldn't have had an oven blow up in my face. But it's not like I took that job to be greedy. Quite the opposite. Kept looking for stuff after that. Found this place, thought this was going to be great. A nice 9 to 5. And even with the shitty workers that I was working with, I like still just try to go and do your best job. Let it roll off your back. And I did well enough job that, again, even after I walked out, the GM called me tonight to be like, I appreciated working with you and you did a good job and I'm gonna miss you and you're better than this place. it gets very tiring, not just in work, but in most areas of my life, to see so many people thrive with ease and with almost no effort at things that I can put all of my time and effort and passion and self into, whether they be romantic relationships, work endeavors, whatever, only to fail. Not just fail, but fail epically. And it's just, it's a difficult feeling to have, situation to be in. I went to a job interview today for a sous chef position that would be up to about 68 to 70K at a place that I worked at 5 years ago and left on good terms, because it's not like I quit every place on bad terms. Most places I leave on good terms. A lot of places that I've stopped working at, I still am friends with and have gone back and done more work for. But you know, they just didn't pay well enough for it to be a job that I could really sustain myself with, and I had to leave for something that would. This would be one of the first jobs in which, if I left and came back to, would have been to a higher position that would be sustainable. But honestly, I just don't know how much more positivity I have to put into something like making pizza. I don't know. And it feels like my only alternative is to move back upstate in with my mom and try to find a job up there to stack some money, and then maybe move down to Asheville with a friend of mine that I'm trying to build the skateboards with. And maybe that is the way to go. Maybe getting out of New York City is the option. Maybe this place really is just not worth it anymore. Maybe after seeing what it takes to really make it here, I don't want to do what it takes to make it here. I don't want to be one of the people that make it here. It just seems like you have to be such a shitty person that just uses other people and takes advantage of other people. Like, this place feels like a place for narcissists to really win out. And it feels like if what you want is to just be good, a good person that does a good job, then yeah, it's just not worth it. It's honestly not like I ever dreamed of living in New York City. This was supposed to be a temporary thing, just to kind of say, like, yeah, I spent some time there. And now it's been about a third of my life. And I don't know if I'm ready to give it up, or if I'm holding on to something that I need to just let go of. So, and I really thought I had it down this time though. It was a 9 to 5. I was getting up, I was making myself breakfast, I was making myself dinner. I had a good routine. But yeah, it just falls apart, and I'm so tired of that. Sorry, this is a slightly more depressing video, probably. I might just leave this one as private. I would probably tell my mom not to watch this one. But it was kind of the point of doing these videos, which have kind of turned into very short little things just to kind of say that I do, that originally it was to kind of keep track of the year, which it has. So I guess it's good to do a slightly longer one when I can. But yeah, I guess that's all I really have for tonight, and I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to do one early in the morning. Take a day here to kind of collect my thoughts, and it does seem as if moving after the end of next month is the best option though. So I think it's just kind of taking the time to really accept that and let that sink in, that I need to do. But hope everyone else is having a better week, better day, better life, and catch you on the other side. Peace.